telling you the story of two formidable demons called Sumbha and Nisumbha. When we say demons, their intentions are always wicked. Their aspirations and desires are always evil. And these two brothers were no exception to that rule. They hatched up one wicked plan after another. One day, the two brothers sat together and thought, why are we living in the nether worlds? Why aren't we living in heaven, lording over the gods? You know what a netherworld is? According to the Hindu mythology, the Puranic lore, we believe that there are 7 worlds below the earth and there are 7 worlds above the earth. And these demons inhabited and ruled the worlds that was beneath the earth. But that was not enough for them. They wanted to be the Lord of gods. Then they thought, how do we do this? We cannot do this with the current power that we have. The gods are way more powerful than us. So they decided to pray to Lord Brahma. The demons who wanted to be the lords of gods prayed to one of the gods. Well, it's ironical, but yes, the gods are powerful, they are kind, and if someone prays to them earnestly, even if they are demons, the gods are benevolent. And these two demons started a very severe penance to Lord Brahma, the creator himself. And was that mild tapas? Was that a mild penance? No. For thousands of years, these two demons first gave up food, then they gave up water. Finally, they sustained themselves only on air, but they kept praying to Lord Brahma. After many such thousands years of penance, Lord Brahma appeared before them and asked them what exactly did they desire. The two demons said, we never want death to come near us. We want to live forever. Lord Brahma just shook his head. He said, that's a boon I can't grant you. The one who is born has to die. You have to ask me for something else. The two demons thought amongst themselves and came up with a really wicked boon. They said, our deaths then should come only in the hands of a woman. Lord Brahma also thought it was a little queer, but he granted the boon. He said, fine, may your deaths come only in the hands of a woman. Now the two demons felt victorious. They went back to their Patalaloka, gathered their demon army, and they started plundering the earth. They prohibited people from worshipping gods. They mercilessly killed the sages and sannyasis who worshipped gods and who did not obey them. Then their atrocities reached heaven. They even started terrifying the gods. The gods felt helpless. Nothing they did could bring about an end to this demonic activity. And they started hiding from the demons. Indra left his palace. And finally, when the time came that the gods could no longer take this evil and wicked ways of these demons and their army, they went and prayed to Goddess Parvati. Goddess, you're the only woman who is capable of slaying these two brothers. Please give us relief from their atrocities. The goddess smiled. She had been witnessing the wicked acts of these two demons all along. She said, worry no more. These demons have brought up their own end. Saying thus, the goddess collected her army and collected 7 of her most able generals called the Matrikas, and all of them climbed their lions, their vehicles, and headed to the battleground. And Sumbha and Nisumbha laughed. They thought, a goddess? Maybe a goddess. She's still a woman. She can't slay us. But still, the demons were somewhere a little afraid. So they did not venture into the battlefield. They kept sending their army. They kept sending the most powerful demons they had. Demons had boons, demons who had unique powers. But the goddess Parvati and her army started slaying them all. The battle was coming to an end, with the demons having to retreat. Then Sumbha and Nisumbha decided. They still didn't want to go into the battlefield, but they decided to send a demon who had very unique powers. His name was Raktabija. You know what his unique power was? Each time, even if a drop of blood from his body touched the ground, a new Raktabija would get born. He could duplicate himself from his own blood. And that is why his name was Raktabija. Rakta is blood, Bija is seed, Asura is demon. This demon used the seed of his own blood to replicate himself. First, when he came to the battleground, the goddesses were unfazed. They had already conquered the demons, so many of them. They had slayed so many of them. The battle was coming to an end. Why would they be afraid? But Raktabija proved to be quite a challenge to them. Each time they tried to hurt him, his blood would drop to the ground, and hundreds and thousands of Raktabija would emanate from it. The goddesses were a little taken aback. What do we do now? When they look around, the battleground, which was almost empty of the demons, was now teeming with millions of Raktabija everywhere. Wherever they looked, it was Raktabija humongous body and the evil laughter. Goddess Parvati called a halt. She started thinking and she got angry. This demon needs to be vanquished. If he is sprouting from his own blood, then we shall not let that happen. In her anger, out sprouted another goddess. You know who that goddess was? That goddess was blue in color. She had bloodshot eyes. She wore a garland of skulls. She had knotted matty hair. And she had a tongue which was the longest that anybody had ever seen. Goddess Kali. Goddess Kali came into the battlefield and laughed, an uproarious laughter. The demons, the goddesses army alike stood still for a moment. But that was only a moment. Then the battle started. In the meanwhile, Kali spread her tongue all through the battleground. She did not leave an inch of ground, and she gave the goddesses a signal to continue the battle. Now, each time a Raktabija was slayed, the Asura was slayed, Kali would drink up his blood. She never let a single drop of blood from one single of the Raktabija to touch the ground. So what happened? Pretty soon, the number of Raktabijas started diminishing. Goddess Parvati and her army started killing them one by one. And Kali, too, swallowed thousands of them in the whole. Very soon, the battleground, which had millions of the Asura, was reduced to none. That is the power of the goddess. And now, coming back to Sumbha and Nisumbha, they had no choice but to enter the battlefield themselves. Needless to say, their ends came very soon in the hands of goddess Parvati. And this is how the story ends. And I hope you enjoyed the story and how creative the demon was and how creative the way the demon was vanquished. But let's look a little deeper into the story, because no story, especially from our mythology or the Puranas, is just a story. It hides a wealth of information, a wealth of guidance in them. The first moral of the story, or what we can take from the story, is when we go to the very beginning. Even the demons who were formidable, who wanted to conquer the world, prayed to Lord Brahma. And Lord Brahma helped even the demons. So never underestimate the power of prayer. Never underestimate the power of God. That is the first take-home point from the story, right? If a God can help a demon, why wouldn't he help us when we pray to him earnestly? And secondly, what was the mistake that Sumbha and Nisumbha made? They underestimated their competition. They thought a woman can never bring down their demise. They thought they were so strong, so physically overpowering, no woman could slay them. Never be overconfident. That becomes your own weakness. Just it so happened with the demon. You may be the fastest runner in your school. You may be the smartest boy or the girl in the class. But never take for granted that you are going to be there forever. There will always be competition, and keep that competition healthy. Keep working hard. Never take your competition for granted. And the third thing that we can take home from this story is something which is not straightforward. Yes, there was a battleground, and the Raktabija kept sprouting, and Kali swallowed them. You know what we can relate this to? The mind, our own mind, is the battleground. And many times, the desires that come into us are the Raktabijas, especially the desires that are unending. So, your job is to become the Kali yourself. The moment you need something, a desire sprouts in your head, don't give in to it. See if you can do without that need. See if you can make do with what you already have. For example, you are creating some beautiful art. You have a box of crayons, a set of paints, and a beautiful coloring book. And you are happy creating. And in the meanwhile, your friend calls. And she says, hey, you know what? I just bought a coloring set with 120 colors. Then what happens to us? We are all human, right? Immediately, we are not happy with what we have. We want more colors. We go ask our parents, I want a bigger box of crayons. Usually the parents say, no, you already have what you have. Create something with it. But most of the time, we do not stop until we get that need met or desire met. So this time, after this story, remember that particular desire is a Raktabija in your head. See if you can slay him. See if you can do without that need. There are things that we can't live without. And give in to only such needs. And most of the time, don't be greedy. Let's not be greedy. Let's just make use of what we already have. So there are two more morals, I'm not done yet, and that is the intention. In any battle, it's the intention that matters. The demons wanted to conquer the world, but why? They did not want to conquer the world so that they can do some good to the world. They wanted to conquer the world so that they get prayed to, so that they have more power, so that they have more wealth. They were very selfish. They were very greedy. As long as our intentions are right, we will always meet with success. Recognize an evil intention at the very beginning. For example, pray for your own success. Do not pray for somebody else's failure. Run your own race. Better your own self. You are your own competition. Have sattvic intentions in mind. Then you will always win. And finally, let's see what happens. In all the stories that we hear, good prevails. Good stays. Bad vanishes. Good conquers the evil. We are all going through a hard phase now, right? With the corona, with the lockdown, having to stay at home, and many others are facing bigger battles. But let's remember, these are bad times. There is a God who will help us out, who will bring back good. This too shall pass. Till then, please stay home, please stay safe, and namaste.